The Winter Olympics are almost here. NHL players are back. So we're going to have really fun international hockey. But you know what that means? The rosters were pretty much out for every single country. And we're going to be reacting to some of the big ones. And we're starting off with the most obvious, the team that we're representing, Canada. And just a general reaction from the both of us. Like we said, no big surprises to a certain degree. But again, at the end of the day, it was not the perfect roster for us. But we'll get right into it. We'll start off with just what happened quickly from the foreign nations. Ultimately, the goalies that were out were Sam Montembeault, Aiden Hill, Travis Konechny out, Seth Jarvis out, and Sam Bennett were ultimately left off the roster that were on the foreign nations. And in are Bo Horvat, Tom Wilson, and Macklin Celebrini.
Nick Suzuki as well, because there's an extra roster spot in the Olympics.
Yes.
Again, when you're looking at Team Canada reaction,
Nothing
one of the greatest,
shocking.
well, like at the end of the day, you assembled one of the best forwards you could forward group you could possibly assemble, because you have literal studs in McDavid, McKinnon, the absolute needle movers right now. The one who's still a needle mover but is very old in Crosby. Celebrini, a future needle mover. Obviously, you left off one needle mover and well in the future in Connor Bedard, which we're going to get to in a little bit here. Defensively, they went with the same.
Yeah, they just went with if it's not broke, don't fix it.
It worked.
Sorry, if it's broke, don't even change anything.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it, yeah. And then goalie was the big one I was looking at here. Logan Thompson had to make the team. He made the team. Hopefully, he is the main starting goalie, in my opinion, because statistically and performance-wise, he has been the best Canadian goalie
all know it's gonna be
over the last 3 years. But, yeah, I mean, you get a good test. I think we got Czechia first game.
Yeah, sure. So Bennington's going to have a good test.
Yeah, if Bennington doesn't perform well against a good Czechia team, then yeah, he shouldn't be playing anymore. But overall, again, a very good team. Like, a lot of these going to be very good.
Yeah,
and,
listen, I have more issues with the USA one, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, but let's talk about the snubs.
Yeah, we gotta pick something, here. Right?
Yeah, no, look, if there's one thing I'm going to be pissed off about, it is Connor Bedard not being on this team, because Connor Bedard has done everything that Macklin Celebrini has done this season. Obviously, not the last season, because Bedard struggled in the second year. But even then, Bedard had a great rookie year. I guess like the main edge was Macklin won what played in the championships.
Yeah, I think that's a big theme here because I'll quickly say that right now.
Yeah, he played with Crosby McKinnon.
Yeah, and then not even just that. I think it was a big factor because on the USA side of things, Keller ultimately, spoiler right now, Keller got in. He was captain of the World Championship team. And then Tage Thompson got in. He played on that team as well. Whereas Jason Robertson literally couldn't play because he was on the
in the conference finals.
In the conference finals. But no, yeah, going back to Team Canada, Connor Bedard, go ahead.
He's killing it. And I get it. He got injured.
But Doug Armstrong did say he wasn't left off because of the injury.
I think it has to be a factor. I
think it was. But not a big factor,
I think it was a factor. I don't believe that, because then why do you leave him off? What other reason? So it can't be because of performance.
No. Okay. So the reason is like as Bill Guerin for USA said it too, and he's gonna say you're trying to build a team. And listen, I had Connor Bedard in. You had Connor Bedard in. Exactly. I'm saying it's a small. I went with the more talented upside. But these teams in general they try to round out the team, and ultimately. The shock, like the guy who should have probably been over, was Anthony Cirelli.
Yeah, okay.
But we know why Anthony Cirelli got it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, who on Team Canada has a shot like Bedard that made the team?
Like not out of the top guys, obviously.
Yeah, I know, but like
I mean, like he has one of the best shots. I would say like McKinnon's up there with a good shot.
Yeah, obviously, like those guys. I'm just saying this. Like you put Tom Wilson in. You put a guy like Nick Suzuki in, who both have good two-way ability. Same with Bo Horvat, who's obviously having a good year, and then face-offs as well.
His shot is up there.
Yeah, Hagel has good two-way ability and all that stuff. So it's not like you're still building a team. Like I get it, he's a talented player and all that. You don't want all that talent, but he's still providing something that not many other that's a very elite level. That's better than most of the people in Team Canada. Even like at the end of the day, when the going gets done, like Bedard's gonna have the best shot in the league, or best shot from Canadian forwards, obviously.
Yeah, ultimately here's the thing, all right?
So like that's where I'm nitpicking that process, just because like you put some guys in like Wilson and all that stuff. So like you have the two-way ability, you have guys that are gonna be physical, you have guys that are gonna hit, but then Bedard, can they shoot like Bedard? So there's still
But-
differences. So like Bedard's contributing something that not everyone on
But
team
here's the
kind of
thing,
has.
right? Like at the end of the day, his skating got better this year. That was the big slight concern. Yeah, the shot is the big thing, but at the end of the day, here's the thing. Again, I wanted him in. I'm not saying like I'm playing a little bit of devil's advocate too, to a certain degree, because USA has a different issue than Canada's. At the end of the day, and I mentioned this during when we selected our Canada roster, the offense on this team is up there. It's probably the greatest.
It's the best.
It's the greatest forward group in Canada, at least in Canadian hockey, since probably Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, and all those guys, right?
Yeah.
Not even the 2010 and 2014 team, in my opinion, had like this high end
Yeah,
of a forward group.
Crosby,
going into it.
McDavid, McKinnon, and Celebrini.
And then you got guys like Marner. And Reinhardt and Point and all
it
these
doesn't
guys.
get much better than this.
So at the end of the day, like, yeah, they're trying to build out a roster. I listen to Ken Hitchcock, who was on Donnie and Dolly. He's like, listen, I would have just went with pure talent. I go with pure talent, right? And because, again, we'll talk about more about this in the USA side of things. The thing is, this team is the Canada should not be lacking offense at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If they do, that's not a Bedard, not leaving off a Bedard concern, right? At the end of the day, you could say that, sure, you should have had Bedard in.
Should have had Bedard in.
But realistically, you have more concerns if McDavid and McKinnon and these guys cannot score goals for whatever reason, right? So like, I understand them leaving him off? Sure, I get it. Anthony Cirelli got in because one, you obviously had the factor of John Cooper being your head coach, but two, they went with they wanted a pure penalty kill specialist type guy. Do I agree with that necessarily? No, because I feel like you added a face-off guy in Horvat who could win a penalty thing, who could penalty kill, but at least win you a face-off, clear the puck, and get a guy like Reinhardt or Stone or
like
Marner on the ice and stuff like that.
Those
right?
are good at that.
But yeah, no, like again, I would have went with the higher ceiling, and you could say, "Oh, he's gonna make the next one." Yeah, guaranteed he's gonna make the next one, but there's no guarantees. Stamkos has never played in the Olympics. Believe it or not.
Stamkos actually got screwed.
Because like Stamkos in his first year of the 2010 Olympics, it was similar to Bedard. Like he was his second year.
He had 51 goals that year.
He got left off. Whatever. Second time, 2014,
Broke his legs.
broke his leg. Or foot, whatever it was.
And
Like he
then-
broke something and he was left off, and then since then they never had the Olympics in 2018 and then 2022 because of the COVID year.
Bro, Stamkos got snubbed.
So not in this one,
but
but
just in general, got snubbed.
like the same thing with rest in peace Johnny Gaudreau. If you took it on that side of things, it's not guaranteed. Obviously, we don't want a tragedy thing to happen like how Johnny Gaudreau but stuff could happen. And like in this case, so I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, he's gonna make the next one. Let's pray to God that we have more World Cup of Hockeys for sure. Because Stamkos obviously played for Team Canada and that, but that was not even a true best on best. But at the end of the day, just to round out the Connor Bedard thing, listen, yeah, I get it? Yes.
Do you love it? No.
Do you love it? No. And I don't. I'm not trying to sit here and say, I'm just playing a little bit devil's advocate to what you were saying. I get the perspective, but this is like, at least it's not as same as the USA side of things overall. But
Stop advocating for the devil.
but
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, yeah, at the end of the day, one thing, because I have another snub I need to talk about very quickly.
Yeah, he's not the only one.
I know, but what I do want to say is the thing with, okay, actually, no, let me go to my second snub. I forgot my thought there. But Sam Bennett being left off. Listen, I know you didn't have him on it. A lot of people didn't have him on it, but he had the biggest reaction over Bedard, I think, when it was announced. And for me, the reason why I think it's a mistake leaving Bedard off, but I think it's a big mistake leaving Bennett off. Doug Armstrong's reasoning, it helps that he's also the St. Louis Blues GM, is that there was no thought in his mind that he was not going to leave off Jordan Binnington because of what he did last year. I get it. That's the only reason why he's going to get on. Because of his resume of winning big games, the Stanley Cup in 2019 in his rookie year, and obviously last year he was the reason why they survived in overtime before McDavid hit the winner in overtime of the Four Nations final. But then Sam Bennett, if that's your logic for that, right? How is Sam Bennett not on this team?
This exact point I made as well.
Because at the end of the day, he scored the big tying goal in the final in the Four Nations. He was the Conn Smythe winner last year for the Stanley Cup with the unbelievable playoffs he had for the Panthers, and that includes guys like Barkov, Reinhardt, Ekblad, Forsling, Bobrovsky, whatever. And then if you want to go on the loser side of things, I threw in Ekblad because he's a good defender, but like I'm just saying, like whatever the case might be, and all the how stacked
That's
that
true.
team
Yeah,
is.
no, anyone could have won.
Right at the end of the day, he won it because he was that amazing. So you leave him out, and listen, again, should have made it over Cirelli, in my opinion. Arguably could have made it over Horvat. And I understand why you put Tom Wilson in, because sometimes you want natural wingers playing as well. You don't want to have centers playing on the wing, because we could see the issue with Jack Hughes last year. He's more of a better center than he's a better winger. Even though it's easy adjustable to go from the center to the wing and then the wing to the center. But for me, I think ultimately, again, I'm nitpicking, sure, whatever.
Here's
but
the point.
Sam Bennett, for me, is a mistake not putting him in, because I'm also scared Tom Wilson might do something stupid, or that IHF or IOC, whatever, might do something stupid.
Even though I don't have him in, I still
the more you thought about it after.
He could be.
I guess like
the reasoning is what pissing me off here, because
it's not consistent.
Yeah, like then there's no way Jordan Bennett should have made it then.
Yeah,
if that was the case, because it's not because Sam Bennett was bad last year in Foreign Nations face-off. He wasn't. He was obviously much better than Jordan Pennington. Jordan Pennington only had like half a game of a good performance, whereas Sam Bennett was good across all 3 group games and obviously the final. He also had an incredible. He's a consummate winner. And then coming into this year, let's be honest, Sam Bennett, as much as he wasn't playing up to his level, it was still better than what Jordan Pennington has done this year.
Yeah. Listen, again, goalies, a little bit.
I know it's a different position.
Lack of depth compared to the forward group.
I mean, it's not that much. But when you have a guy like Scott
Woodward having a better year this year. Mackenzie Blackwood in general for the last 2 years. Darcy Kemper, all that. Yeah.
Well, Kemper made it, so I'm
just saying that in general. But yeah, no, like for me, I think that like as much as I love Bedard, I think Bennett's a little bit more of a mistake, because at least if you want to argue experience, he is the more experienced guy. But
there's one more
I do want to talk about. We talked about the defense.
Which is also another center.
Oh, you're going into that one. Sorry, I was going to a defenseman. Let's go to the center very quickly. I don't know how much of it is because his team's on a 10-game losing streak at the moment as this is recording. But Mark Scheifele, once again, being left off. I thought he was definitely going to make it this year. They went with Bo Horvat, I guess, right? Even the fact that Bennett was left off. Listen, I understand the Jets are having a terrible year this year, especially this last month or so, with these last 10 games especially. They just probably went with like Horvat being a little bit better defensively, might be better at faceoffs, is a bigger body slightly, whatever. I think that's the reason. I think both Canada and USA, what they did was value size a little bit more than skill. Even though Canada did add a little bit of skill compared to the Four Nations, in my opinion, by adding a guy like Bo Horvat, putting in a guy like Nick Suzuki. I get that. But again, if I'm Scheifele, I would be rightfully be annoyed, because now that's 2 years. You want to represent your country in any form possible, especially at the Olympics, and that's 2 years in a row where he got snubbed. And he had a very good second half of the year last year. This is not
This is not a thing where like Scheifele has a right to be pissed, because he actually he felt like, and a lot of people felt like he earned the roster spot for the Olympics, and obviously last year in the Four Nations face-off. So especially last year, I was a little bit more shocked just because of how good the Winnipeg Jets were as well, and obviously him being up there in the points lead up until that point, I believe, and his obviously teammate who's American, Kyle Connor, saying that I don't know how the hell this guy got left off of this roster. But this year, I guess I feel like just because of the struggles that the team has had, I could see why they went somewhere else, because Bo Horvat is having a great year. And on top of that, the Islanders are second place in the Metro, right? Obviously, a lot has to do with Schaefer as well coming in.
Yeah.
But Bo Horvat has played a part of that, and which is a massive part in that of how the Islanders are having a successful season so far. But again, Scheifele does have a right to be pissed, because Scheifele has been good, and it's not like it's Scheifele's fault that the Winnipeg Jets are losing 10 games in a row. You can't single that out on Scheifele as well.
Missed some time in that. Actually, no, Hellebuyck went back for it.
But yeah, the Winnipeg Jets are just a completely different mess, right? That needs to be dissected in its own time. But right now, again, for me, those are the 3 biggest forwards that got snubbed or considered in the snub list.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying I'm putting all 3 of them in, because obviously I didn't.
To make it clear, we're happy that all these guys that didn't make the team made it. Hopefully they stay healthy. They deserve their shine. We are nitpicking the Canada roster a little bit.
Yeah, because
here.
when you're putting together the greatest forward group we have seen in a long last time, people are going to be left off, and the 3 people are left off are very talented people that provide something in their own way, and people that are experienced who have won Stanley Cups, been a part of the Foreign Nation face-off as well.
Last guy I do want to talk about is, before I specifically single him out, I do want to talk the defense in general. So they did go with the if it's not broke, don't fix it type mentality. Sometimes I think that's a good thing, but sometimes I feel like just because you won doesn't mean you cannot still improve. Example number one, the LA Dodgers. They won a couple years ago. They went out and added like Blake Snell and players like that to their roster. Now, this year, obviously, they beat our Blue Jays, so it still stings. But the fact that they won, they went out and added Edwin Diaz to address the closer situation. They're still in on guys like Kyle Tucker.
There's no cap space here, boys.
No, I know, but I'm just, same thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
exactly.
yeah,
I thought we were talking about NHL for a second.
Yeah.
Right? You've seen teams, like, the Warriors teams, they ultimately lost the 73-9 They did lose, but they went out and added Kevin Durant. That might be more of an example for a different team. The next team we're going to talk about. But at the end of the day, you still need to try to improve because A, people can figure you out, and B, it is just like you want to keep things moving and stuff like that. So that being said, am I still mad that they did this? Came back with the same 8? No, because we relatively had the same. The difference was you had also Jacob Chikrin before we had the one that we both had on it. But the thing is, after Cale Makar, you don't have any great puck movers. And clearly USA's roster, before we go dissecting that, is trying to play a north-south game, put pressure, forecheck, and turnovers, and hopefully the goalies can they could beat the goalie like that. So that insert 18-year-old Matthew Schaefer. Where we're like,
well, he hasn't been inserted.
Insert like us bringing him into the conversation. Listen, Doug Armstrong himself said that he wasn't even on the radar at the beginning of the season.
Makes sense.
Right, rookie, 18-year-old, you don't expect that, especially in a defensive situation. Drew Doughty came in at 20, right, like when he played for 2010. But when you watch this guy play, the way he's able to move the puck and how smart he is, some youth to it as well. I was like, and then you saw what he did against Toronto on the weekend.
Whoa, that was
after the roster got announced.
Yeah,
it's like, how do you leave this guy off? Again, out of all the names we mentioned, this guy's the least snubbed in that sense because I do get it, age, the Four Nations happened last year and all that. But if there is, because again, injuries are a thing. Devontae's before even injured, he said that he doesn't even know if he'll be there on time because his wife is gonna give birth sometime in February. I feel like, I know you want to give love to Jacob Chikrin as well. I think he might end up getting the shout if it is a replacement like that. But Matthew Schaefer should also be on that list where, like, just bring him in. Even though he's an extra guy, you could put him in if it's an injury replacement or whatever game. I feel like he will hold his own because he's clearly doing it at the NHL level.
Well, he has the Islanders at second place right now, which nobody has thought that would have happened. But overall,
to wrap up the Canada roster,
I think
Schaefer very quickly for you.
Schaefer's probably the first call, I think. I think he's ahead of Chikrin for me. I also think Bennett's probably the first call.
So here's the thing. One
forwards.
thing Doug Armstrong did say is like he clarified is like if there is a call up, it's based on who's missing. So it's not like if a skill player goes out, you're bringing up Bennett. If that's the case, then it's going to be Bedard.
Yeah.
But if it's like Horvat, hopefully he does get well soon and gets into the Olympics, I think it should be fine. Then it's going to probably be a Bennett or a Scheifele.
Yeah,
one of the two.
like a center. Bedard is center, but like a big center.
Yeah, like that,
yeah.
Right? Or if Wilson goes out, then it might be just Bennett and he'll go on the wing type vibe, right? So ultimately, our just final thoughts on the Canada roster, since this is a team we're going to be rooting for. Again, don't necessarily hate it.
Of course you don't hate it.
No. I'm just saying, don't necessarily going to hate it. We're just nitpicking a little bit here. We're just giving love to the guys that
there's
probably
only one thing I was going to hate.
Logan Thompson.
Exactly, yeah. Like that's the only thing that pissed me off last year. He's in. He's clearly, like, leaving him off last year could have been a terrible mistake. Obviously, up until Binnington had a good overtime, but overall, it was looking like a mistake. And he's in. Everything else, like, again, when you're assembling the greatest forward group you have seen in a long time, people are going to be left off. But defensively, they did their job last year. That's fine by me. But
let's move on to Team USA. But before we go on to Team USA, we want to appreciate everybody to hit the subscribe button and like this video and comment down below your thoughts on the Olympic rosters. We're almost about a month away, so we want to hear what country are you repping down below. So it's going to be a fun time, and we appreciate everybody who helped us get to 165 subscribers. Let's get to 200 by the end of this month. We appreciate you guys.
But we're in this conversation here that we might be talking about the biggest snub and overall of combined of any roster construction for every single country.
Before we say that, the USA from last year brought back a heavy Four Nations roster. The goalies are the same. Defensively, again, a snub in Adam Fox. I know he ended up being an LTIR now, but we'll still talk about him being snubbed.
Well, Hughes comes in.
But Hughes was already on the roster, but does come back. But I'm saying you still can't leave off Adam Fox. But you brought in a guy like Seth Jones, who also is hurt at the moment, but that was the initial one. And then Thompson and Keller in, Kreider out, and Jason Robertson, who did not make the team last year, is not on the team.
It's
This year,
also the
once
biggest
again.
snub that you could possibly think of, because when you're looking at Jason Robertson, you're looking at the
Right
best
here.
American goal scorer in the
Points.
NHL.
He's leading in points
He's leading in points
amongst
as well.
Americans.
Last year, the USA team did struggle to have goal scoring as well when it came down to the clutch moments, because obviously Matthews couldn't get it done in overtime.
Matthews is on form now, though.
Yeah,
but
Matthews has on form. Obviously, congrats to Matthews for being the all-time franchise leader in goals, passing Matt Sundin. But again, a talented forward group. Here's one mistake I think the Team USA made and Bill Guerin made, is that Canada they added people like rough guys like obviously they have Marchand in there, like Tom Wilson, and little defensive oriented guys like Sorelli. I think Team USA went too much in that way.
So with
like JT Miller,
Brock Nelson,
Trocheck, Brock Nelson, and all.
So doubling down from last year, essentially.
Yeah, but the mistake last year was that obviously Robertson was left off last year. This year, I just don't understand how he could be off this team. It just genuinely makes zero sense to me.
So here,
I'm also very happy as a Canadian.
Exactly, like, I don't give a fuck what they do.
Yeah,
but
like,
also being unbiased on this situation, it still pisses off.
Look, JT Miller shouldn't be on this team. He just shouldn't. Like, he hasn't done nearly what he has done offensively and defensively this season like he has done in years past. Whereas this guy in Robertson is dominating this season offensively as well. And you needed goal scoring. Like, if you're looking at a guy who's like, you have Austin Matthews, who's gonna be obviously a pure goal scorer, Jake Gensel, Kyle Connor.
If they play him.
If they play him. Like, why not add another one in Robertson?
So here's the
thing. Because you have the Kachucks as well. It's not like you just have Nelson and Trocheck and Miller. And all. Like, you have the Kachucks. You have people already that have two-way ability and are physical and all those things. Just add the goal scoring. Like, this guy is the best American player, has been the best American offensive player this season.
Here's what I want to say. The thing, what Bill Guerin, remember, so this is going back to my analogy of the Golden State Warriors after they were 73-9 and blew the 3-1 lead to the Cavs and lost. And they went out and improved themselves by adding Kevin Durant. They could have stayed put and be like, we have a good team, right? What Bill Guerin is banking on is that, listen, now Quinn Hughes hopefully is healthy for them. We
got to get this point clear. The Team USA is improved because he is playing now.
Yeah. So the big factor of that is he's in. He's the second, you could argue best defenseman, but obviously top two defensemen, him and Cale Makar are in a tier of their own, right? I don't think you disagree with that either. So he's banking on the fact that this USA team almost won it all last year. If it wasn't for Jordan Binnington's heroics in overtime, and literally we're one goal away from winning it, they beat Canada in the group stage game as well in regulation. So because of all that, they're banking on that, like they're just banking on that Quinn Hughes alone, plus the small adjustments they made, which was adding Clayton Keller and Tage Thompson, who they left off last year. Especially a guy like Tage Thompson was a surprise last year, and bigger body. They're gonna bring him up this year for Chris Kreider, who is obviously in the aging side of things. So ultimately, that's what they're banking on. And listen, it might work. Listen, I'm not sitting here like I'm pissed off for some USA fans. Listen, we had Greg Wyshynski in our pod a couple of years ago. I listened to him on a constant basis on local radio here. He's not happy that Jason Robertson's left off because he was less skill. They want more grit. The reason why I was a little bit fine with Bedard being left off of Canada is because you still have a high. You still have the skill,
yeah.
This one, now Austin Matthews is on form and Eichel's been fine. Who else is going to be your main goal scorer outside of maybe Kyle Connor, right? No one else outside of Jason Robertson. We don't know what Matthew Tkachuk is going to look like. He's traveling now. He's traveled with Florida, so we'll see. He's probably going to get a few warm-up games, weeks before he gets, if he gets called up officially for the USA. Now, if not, injury replacement could be Jason Robertson, whatever. Brady Tkachuk hasn't looked crazy after his injury, like, to the point where I see Sens fan on Twitter being like, this guy just probably is caring about the Olympics at the moment, and we'll see what happens from there and then on. So the fact that you have scoring issues a little bit, lack of skilled talent, I don't expect JT Miller to do what he does what he did with the Vancouver Canucks on this USA team. I don't expect Trocheck to do that. I don't expect Brock Nelson to do that, even though Brock Nelson is having a bounce back Colorado Avalanche portion of his career, right? Because last year he struggled when he got traded to the Avalanche, but obviously he's picked it up this year. But when you look at their roster, how do you leave off your leading goal scorer? I understand Bill Guerin saying if we don't need a GM, then if you're just gonna pick the top 10 scorers, it's not a pure all-star game. I get that.
Yeah, but pick the top scorer.
But pick the top scorer. At the end of the day, pick your top scorer.
Yeah.
Yes. Is he the best defensively? No. Then you don't have to
And you have enough of that. And even you have enough of that forward wise, but you also have a really good defense. Like McAvoy is very good in the defensive side.
What their identity
Jakub
is.
Slavin is very good in one of the best defensemen in the NHL. So, and you have the goaltending.
By the way, you really love saying his name in a European style, don't you?
I know it's Jacob Slavin, bro. Like I thought this guy was European. When I first heard of Slavin,
trying to
bro.
make yourself feel better a little bit.
Bro, I was like, this guy's American. I was like, no way. When I found out a couple years ago.
It feels like their identity is playing the north-south style, press on their defensemen, and because they have a good defense and good goaltending. I give the slight edge defensively to USA because they probably have the better puck movers, especially if Quinn Hughes, Zach Werenski, whatever. We'll talk about Adam Fox.
But when you look at the forward group as like just the forward group, obviously when you're looking at overall roster, USA is the more well-rounded team. They were at Four Nations, they are now. But when you're looking at forward group alone, Canada is the more well-rounded than USA. Because Canada has the speed, the skating ability, the goal scoring ability, the playmaking ability, and the grit and the physicality. Whereas USA, in my opinion, still lack in the goal scoring department at the Olympic level. Obviously, great for an NHL team, don't get me wrong, but at the Olympic level, comparing to Team Canada, they shouldn't be scoring as much.
Listen,
you haven't scored as much compared to the Canadian players.
You can't underestimate the other countries, especially Sweden, but these two teams are pretty much building teams to beat each other. And Bill Guerin clearly believes that this is the best way to beat Team Canada. Was he close last year? 100%. But the problem with the Olympics, one thing I want to bring up is, it's not NHL rules. You're not fighting anybody in this. In the IOC/IHF rules, you cannot fight someone because otherwise you'll be kicked out of the game. Or even the tournament, depending on how severe and all that stuff goes. So it's going to be a little bit more skill-based in my opinion. Yeah, will it be physical? Sure. But like it'll still be a little bit more skill-based compared to like three guys dropping the puck in the first like minute of the game. Like,
which is obviously an
iconic moment,
legendary moment, but
it's not going to happen in the Olympics. Let's be real.
Something I would love to see to happen again, but
it's not going to happen. Let's just be real. So again, from a fan perspective, don't give a fuck because it's Team USA. But like, if I'm just being generally honest on my true thoughts of seeing this roster, you leaving off your leading scorer this year is nuts to me. Yes, he struggled last year in this season. That's not the case this year. And you doubling down on Quinn Hughes just being the only addition to help you win, and you could be right, you might be prove us wrong. But listen, we're not American, but American fans are saying like, how the hell do you leave off Jason Robertson from this roster?
Yeah.
And you needed more when it comes to a time where you need overtime you need a little bit more skill than you need.
You just need a goal. That's all you need.
At the end of the day.
Yes,
Matthews got robbed a couple times. He could have ended it, sure. But after Matthews, who did you have there? Eichel?
Again, like
Matthew Tkachuk was hurt during that game, so
when you're looking at
and Kyle Connor was scratched.
When you're looking at pure goal scoring, like you're looking at Matthews, you're looking at Gensel, you're looking at Connor, and that's it. Like at the end of the day, like Eichel could score goals. Don't get me wrong. Jack Hughes could score goals. Like those guys can. Like if you're looking at a guy's top, what a guy's top ability is, and when we're looking at goal scoring, they only have 3, which I think for an Olympic team is 2 less.
Listen. These guys are almost all the guys that are on this forward group are all-stars for the most part, with probably the exception of this year, JT Miller, this year specifically, Trocheck, and probably Brock Nelson right now. But at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. Now that we said all this, they might just win it all. Who knows? Yeah. But we'll see what ends up happening. But another snub I do want to really talk about is Adam Fox. Yes, he's put on LTIR now, so it's a little bit of a mute point now. But at the moment of time, listen, I understand he did not have the greatest. It's similar to what I criticizing Doug Armstrong for not picking Sam Bennett and picking the reasoning the reason of picking George Bennington not applying to Sam Bennett. If Adam Fox was really that bad last year for the Four Nations and that's why you left him off, why is Jack Hughes on this roster? Why is Kyle Connor on this roster? Because your coaching staff scratched him last year when the games that mattered most. Because at the end of the day, Jack Hughes was not effective on the wing. Jack Hughes is a center. You used him on the wing because he's skilled. I get that, which is why my point of sometimes you need natural wingers. You need that to happen. But if that's the case, why is Jack Hughes on the roster? I wonder what the relationship between Adam Fox and Mike Sullivan's going to be with this, because that's Mike Sullivan coaches that team, which is why I think Trocheck and especially JT Miller got in, because JT Miller is the captain.
I think
so the fact that the rumored report came out that Fox didn't make it, I was like, damn. Because we saw the report first of Seth Jones getting in. And congratulations to Seth Jones. He had a really good turnaround when he got traded to Florida last year, and he does deserve to make it. Don't get me wrong. But I thought Adam Fox was playing well this year. It was just Seth Jones on the defensive side.
Well, then Hughes technically comes in,
Yeah, then Hughes comes in. So, because Sanderson was a replacement for Hughes, and he automatically got selected. Like, if you're looking at a defensive scoring, and let me just quickly pull it up here. Adam Fox was up there at one point earlier on the season.
Look, Adam Fox,
he's 7th right now.
Adam Fox
in
general.
At one point, he was ahead of Hughes. And Hughes obviously elevated the minute he got traded to the Wild.
Adam Fox in general did not have a great year last year. Obviously, this year he has been playing much better.
He's a point per game. He's just under a point per game, like 20 and 30.
I purely think is... Like, look, I'm trying to think of a reason why. I'm not saying this is the reason or like it's a valid reason or anything. I just, in my head, to kind of convince me that why he was left off is just, I think the initial injury scare, because it was like he was out for a few weeks, right? And in December. So I don't know if that, like, I know he came back and played games as well, but I don't know if he was fully healed type of thing. That's the only thing I could think of why he was left off. Because, and then obviously now he's put on LTIR, so it's not going to mean much. But overall, again...
Yeah, he missed all of December.
Yeah,
like... He came back on the 31st.
I genuinely believe, I think they just might be like, oh, this guy's hurt.
Fair. So this is something we don't know, right? But I'm just saying, like, if leaving him off the roster is a little bit concerning, because then he only dropped off in points because he was just injured.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm not saying, like, to Bill Green's point, are you going to look at... the points? I get it, because Shane Gostisbehere is 6th in points. I'm not expecting him to make the roster. But the point is, at the end of the day, like, USA, listen, you might be right. You might run it back with the addition of Hughes and making a slight adjustments. You might win it all. It was close last year, don't get me wrong. But I expect Canada to have a little bit of additional chemistry from last year's Four Nations as well. And we'll see what ends up happening. But I think that's pretty much it from me on the USA side of things. Thompson, Keller, in, Kreider out. So those are the big ones for me. I think, again, the point of USA going across. But let's talk about Sweden very quickly and a little bit of Finland, because they have a lot of NHL rosters. Sweden kind of disappointed me in the Four Nations last year. I don't know about you. Like, that's like slightly. Obviously, we all know when in a perfect situation, it should be Canada, USA in the gold medal game.
Yeah.
Those are the top two hockey nations. But when you look at USA's roster, their goaltending, their roster is already talented in general, not to the level of obviously Canada, USA in terms of the forward defensive group. Definitely not Canada's goalies. But you adding the 2 Minnesota goalies plus obviously Markstrom after letting in 9 goals is the third stringer, and Allmark wasn't doing anything better, but it's different. But probably Gustafsson starting, but Gustafsson, Wallstedt, especially Wallstedt right now, could steal you a damn game. I will not be shocked if it's Sweden. Like, obviously the World Juniors is a different thing. They just want World Juniors. But this Sweden roster can surprise people, because I do like them defensively. First of all, shout out OEL making it the roster.
Shout out OEL. Also shout out Philip Broberg.
Yeah.
As well, who had a great year last year as well.
Like, what the hell? Because Ekholm got left off, right? But when I'm looking at the Sweden team, overall, obviously you're trying to look for hopefully a better Pettersson for them. But they still have skill. They have puck movers in Carlson and OEL, and you still have Gustav Forsling, you have Rasmus Dahlin, you have Victor Hedman, all them. But one thing I'm looking at them is, can their goalies get you a win against some of these big teams? If they do end up matching with Canada and USA at some point during the knockout stages especially, they can goalie a team. Simple as that. And we've seen Wallstedt do it for Minnesota.
So that's where picking Wallstedt is huge, because he obviously when he started playing at the NHL level, this guy went on a shutout streak.
Yeah.
Right? Has obviously one of the lower G goals against average as well. So, and defensively, these guys are solid. Like, again, as much as I want to say this about Jacob Slavin, him being one of the best defensemen in the NHL, same has to apply to Gustav Forsling.
Yeah.
Right? OEL is literally the best defenseman next to Chris Tanev on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yeah, Troy Stetcher as well. But Troy Stetcher came in and was playing incredible, and obviously leveled the ship of Tanev being absent. But OEL is the one who really stepped up his game, which we thought he might struggle leaving team like Florida. But no, he has been great for them. And then on top of that, you have a guy like Rasmus Andersson, who's obviously going to try to play his best out because he's trying to get traded. So overall, I think he's playing at a good time. Erik Karlsson was great last year in the Four Nations face-offs. And then obviously we know Hedman and Dahlin are all obviously solid defensemen. So again, very good defense. The defense is the thing that stands out for me for Team Sweden. But adding a guy like Wellstead is huge because last year Allmark wasn't great in the Four Nation. Obviously Markstrom. Did Markstrom play?
No, Markstrom got hurt.
Markstrom got hurt, right?
Replaced by, I believe, Samuel
Ersson, yeah. Gustafsson, I think, did a decent job last year, but what is Wellstad doing this year has been absolutely incredible, and it gives you a little bit more hope that, again, defensively they could shut you down, but when you need a big save, Wellstad could be the guy to do it for you.
Yeah, you have enough talent in front of you. You got good goaltending in this tournament. You can sneak away with a gold this year as well.
The issue for me comes a little bit more offensively. Again, the X factor you're looking at is Elias Pettersson because he hasn't been good, but
better this year than last year.
Yeah, Lucas Raymond was incredible last year's Four Nations face-off. William Nylander was a little bit up and down. I don't think he was his dominant self, but again, very talented for sure. It's just the forward groups brings it down compared to Team USA and Team Canada.
So very quickly on Finland, 2 years in a row, and they're missing a key player. Last year, Miro Heiskanen gets hurt. This year, Barkov gets hurt, and that's going to be their best player that's out. So because of that, I'm not going to give them much hope. We'll see what they have to rely on goalies. Let's see what UC Soros is going to do this time, and obviously Kevin Lankinen is having a good bounce back second part of his the season so far because he wasn't good at the beginning.
So don't face Lankinen in a shootout.
Yeah, exactly. That might be. I heard Thomas Rand say this. He's like, if they get to shootout, just do some Tim Krul Netherlands shit and put him in for that, even if it's like lack of warm up, whatever it is. Obviously,
you need the warm up.
Yeah, but. At the end of the day, it's gonna be tough for Finland at the end for me. I don't need to go too much into it. Their roster.
Here's one question I'm gonna ask you. Because of that, do you think Czechia overtakes them as the fourth best team in the tournament?
Let me pull up the roster quickly here. Dostal, good goalie. Yeah, they obviously. I don't want.
They don't have the defensemen.
So here's the thing. Okay,
I think their best defenseman is Hronek.
That was my next part of the conversation.
Yeah.
What other rosters are you looking at?
Okay, look.
So you're going with Czechia. So give your case for that.
Look, okay, Czechia's overall. So I don't want to say Czechia. Because a lot of people have faith in Czechia.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you look at the roster, you're looking at Pasternak, you have the superstar. You have Marty Natchez, who has been absolutely incredible for them. You have the goaltending and multiple goaltenders in Vajmelka, Dan Vladar, who has been pretty good for the Flyers this year.
Yeah.
And the main one being Lukas Dostal. So you have a team. You have Filip Hronek, who has been
Anaheim's
good.
on a struggling case right now, by the way.
You have Filip Hronek, who has been very good for the Vancouver Canucks this year, in my opinion. Radko Gudas as well, who's a good defenseman. So, again, they have a lot of good pieces. When you look at star power-wise, like the depth stuff, you probably give the edge to Finland just because they do have more NHL players across like offense, defense, and goaltending. But like, when you look at the star power, with Barkov being all out, you could kind of see it even out because like you're looking at Rantanen and you're looking at obviously Pasternak, who are literally one of the best. Both are one of the best wingers in the NHL.
Listen, France, Italy, they're dead last. Don't even need to talk about them. The team I'm looking at, I'm trying to see what Slovakia's full roster is going to be like. Obviously, the first.
But there's a team I'm going to say.
The first six. One second, I'm going to bring the team. I think you know what I'm going to say too. But Simon Nemec, Slavkovsky, Chernak, Tatar, Pospisil. These are their first six. I want to see what their full roster looks like at the moment. I think Czechia will be slightly better than them. But the team I'm going to throw out there, obviously Swiss has.
Where's the team you just mentioned right now?
Slovakia.
Okay.
It's just only the first six. But
Yeah.
obviously, I don't think Latvia's a little too early. We're going to wait till the junior guys get called up eventually. But I'm looking at Team Germany. And there's a reason why. I'm a little bit high. I'm not saying they're going to beat Canada, USA, or Sweden, right? But listen, at the end of the day, hockey is a 60-minute game. Not one player will play 60 minutes. We know that. So if this was like a situation like basketball where a team could play their whole team for the full amount of time without getting tired, tell me a lineup that has defensively led by Mo Seider, who's in the Norris conversation this year, Leon Draisaitl, who's a top 30 player in the world. You have Tim Stützle and JJ Peterka on this roster as well. Not saying they're going to go out and come top three. I'm going to make that clear right now. But can they upset some of these, the Czech, if you have the Czech ahead of them, which I'm not going to say fully disagree with, But the top end talent that these guys have, like the Swiss have some nice players, but they're not at the level of Draisaitl, Seider, Paterka, and Stützle. And they flipped Grubauer in net, who's at least an NHL goalie, who's having a little bit of a bounce back this year, but obviously hasn't been great since he left Colorado. But this team, I am low-key, this is my Cinderella team to a certain extent.
Okay. I'm not going to say Czech as my Cinderella team.
I'm not saying they're better than Czech. I want to make that clear.
I'm not saying
the
Czech,
talent is there for the top-end NHL
Czech
guys.
is not a Cinderella team. Like if you predict something like Czechia makes a final, okay, yeah, I could give you that for anyone who's going to make that prediction. But Czech, in my opinion, if they make it to a semifinal, that's not surprising.
It won't be.
It won't be surprising. So that's why I'm not picking them as my Cinderella team. Yours is Germany. I am actually going with Switzerland.
You are? Okay.
Yeah. Roman Josi leading your back end. We already know he's one of the best defensemen in the NHL, one of the best leaders in the NHL as well. Kevin Fiala is a goal scorer. You have Nico Hischier, great two-way game. Timo Meyer, obviously his teammate. Pia Suter, who has been really good the last couple of seasons as well. Nino Niederreiter, a proper vet. Again, goaltending, I am scared because the only NHL goalie they have is Akira Schmid. But overall, I think this Czech team is not Czech team, the Swiss team, again, might not have the star power like Stützle and Draisaitl and Seider, but they still have a very good talent and good enough to have multiple lines here and multiple deep pairings because they also have JJ Moser from Tampa Bay who made it, and then Sagan Tyler from the Devils.
Yeah, so
again,
solid NHL
like a solid little base that they have here, and enough talent to make some noise, in my opinion.
And I'm looking at Denmark very quickly. Similar style, a little bit lesser to that. Like they have Nick Ehlers, they have Oliver Bjorkstad, Lars Eller. They have a goalie in Freddie Anderson if he's able to be healthy, and stuff like that. Nick Jensen, who used to be in the NHL, or I don't know if he's still actually
is. Bro. Nick Jensen has been the Capitals, but obviously now a Senators player now.
Yeah, sorry, I mixed up. There's another Jensen. I looked at the different names. That's why. But yeah, no, like I get your point with the Swiss, but yeah, I'm just like. I just like the Germany high-end players.
Yeah, because
it might be less NHL players, but like let's see.
It's not even that. It's like we didn't get to see these teams. And like, we didn't get to see Czechia, how good Czechia can be last year. We didn't get to see how good
and I want to
Germany
see Leon
and Switzerland.
Draisaitl in this situation, how nuts he's gonna go.
Potentially, yeah. But one thing I want to say about Czechia to wrap things up here: last 3 or 4 years, their World Junior teams have been incredible as well. So this is a team that again has the star power as already with the Pasternak and Natchez, but they have some young guys coming up and into his team. Czechia could be a fairly dominant team, not just for this year, but like for years to come.
For more so years to come. The youngest guy on the roster right now is only 22 years old. And
I'm just saying, I'm saying like from years to come, because these Czechia teams in the World Juniors have been, obviously they beat Canada 3 years in a row. So that tells you something.
Yeah. But no, overall, it's going to be a fun time. Like, we're obviously geeked out talking about these rosters. Like I said, you're looking at the Swiss. I'm looking at the German team in terms of roster. Sorry, France. Sorry, Italy. Italy, you're hosting. Good job. But hockey-wise, stick to soccer, I guess. That's the best way.
You're struggling in soccer, too.
Yeah, but at least better than like what the case is going to be. Unfortunately, you guys... it will be a shock if they even win a game. But overall, that pretty much wraps it up for us. This is our reaction overall for a lot of the Olympic rosters, especially the Canada, USA ones. Comment down below if you're Canadian, American, or whatever. Do you like your roster down below? We would like to hear it in the comment section. Make sure you guys please hit the subscribe button, like this video. More content coming for you guys weekly, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.